Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Machin Le'Roa Online Smicha. There is an organization amongst the Jewish people that take a special quality to get into, and they are credited with special Maisim Tovim. And that is the group who joined together to perform the mitzvahs of Kvura and Taira, which are titled with the name of either Chèvra Kadisha or Chesed Shel Emes. Now, there's a minig, it's brought already in Svarim, it's brought in Shalos of Shuvas Tashbatz, Chele Gimel, Siman Yud Gimel, that in every city, in every kehillah, you form your own Chèvra Kadisha, and their job is to take care of all these matters. And the truth is, if you listen to the history, or read about the history in the times of the Baal Shem Tov, the job of the Chèvra Kadisha was not only for Inyanim after 120, those were for all spiritual matters of the town, had to go through the Chèvra Kadisha. And that's why it's actually mekubal that the people who are able to join the Chèvra Kadisha are special people and have special qualities. Now, there are some halachas that are very much connected because of this established rule, because of this established group of Chèvra Kadisha, and that is that, for example, the din of aninus, the din of Rahman al-Tzam, when somebody passes away, that he has to dedicate all his focus on making sure of the burial of the deceased, the burial of the person who passed away, and that's why they become pater. The einin is pater mikol mitzvahs. That din applies originally in a place where it was the person, the family member's job to take care of it. So he couldn't do anything else. He had to stay laser beam focused in that. So he became part of Mikol mitzvahs. Today's days, however, where there is established groups of people, Chèvra Kadisha, who take care of it, not necessarily the person, the avo, is exempt from a mitzvah anymore because there is somebody to take care of it. However, that's not a simple halacha. Most of the poskim actually believe that even though the mess was given over to the Chèvra Kadisha, and the Chèvra Kadisha are qualified and they know what they're doing, still, until the Kvura, until the burial, in most cases, the person is still considered an einin, and he's part of Mikol mitzvahs, even though the Avo himself physically doesn't have to take care of it, and he has given it over to an organization. What is the quality of this group? So the Rebbe in the Rishima in Cheveres Chav Hey, the Rebbe said this for the establishing of the Chèvra Kadisha, the Lubavitcher Chèvra Kadisha Agudas Chachilei Chabad, on Hey Menachemov, which is the yahrzeit of the Arizal Achai, Hey Menachemov Tashim Beis, the Rebbe has a Rishima explaining the importance, the greatness of the Chèvra Kadisha. And the Rebbe says that the group of people who join to do these things are usually titled with one of two names, either Chèvra Kadisha or Chesed Shel Emes. What does Chèvra Kadisha mean? So he brings from the Oitzer Yisrael that they say that Chèvra Kadisha means that even though you're dealing with matters of money, because there is money that has to be paid for the workers and for the burial and for the plot and all that, and usually people who deal with money, have the big challenges, the nisyonis of making more or whatever. These are holy people that there's nothing to be choshed them, nothing to suspect them. There's no extra money to be made, and actually they don't even make money, even though they're allowed to charge for their service. They don't make money doing it. It's mekubal to do it as a free service. So, but why is it Chèvra Kadisha? Because these people are wholly known that nobody will suspect them of anything. That is one reason it's brought. That's why it's called Chèvra Kadisha. Chesed Shel Emes is based on the Medrash Rabbah that Yaakov Avinu, when he was about to pass away, said to his son, "V'asisa imadi Chesed ve'emes," and it's brought. Why is this considered an act of Chesed ve'emes? Chesed shegoyim l'mimamesim. It says that the Chesed that you do with the deceased is considered a Chesed Shel Emes. It's the real Chesed. And why is that the real Chesed? because on top of the fact that you're not waiting to get paid, and that's why it actually is brought in Svarim that that emes is a Rosh Tevis Einam Mitzaplim Tashlum. You're doing something for the emes and you're not waiting for any payment. And over here, the person who died is never going to pay you back. He's gone. And you're doing a chesed for him, so that's the real chesed shel emes. And the Rebbe says, a beautiful pshat, the Rebbe says that Chazal tell us, the Medrash says that before Adam Harishon was created, there was a machlokes, there was a dispute between Midas HaChesed and Midas HaEmes. Midas HaChesed said, let Adam Harishon be born. And because he's going to do Goyim Lechasadim, he's going to do kind acts, so let's have him around to do it. Emes says, Al Yivra, don't create Adam Harishon, because a person is full of lies, full of deceives. He's not doing things honestly. So Chesed wanted a person to be born, Adam Harishon, Emes did not. And the Medrash goes on to say, the Adam person would be doing Chesed. You should know that the Chesed that he's doing is not Emes. That's why Midas Emes didn't want it. So when a person passes away, or these people who are dealing with the burial of the things that are applicable for after 120, over here specifically it's nikar that you're doing a chesed which is fully emes. There is no shkarim, there's no lies attached to it. And that's why it's called a chesed shel emes. And the second part of that Rishima, the Rebbe goes on to bring other places, other qualities that we see by chesed shel emes. He says there's a longer letter from the Rebbe Rashab explaining this, and we find that the Gemara says in the end of the first paragraph of Soita, HaKadosh Baruch Hu kaiver meisim, af ata kvar meisim. Just like the Eibishter Kvar Yochel went out of his way to bury the dead, so there's a mitzvah for us to bury the dead. And the Rebbe points out, when the Yidden were in the Midbar, there wasn't a need of a Chèvra Kadisha. Why wasn't there a need? Because for the first 39 years the Yidden were in the Midbar, nobody had to bury the dead. Why? Because at the end of every year, at a certain time of the year, everybody would dig their own, because we knew that the generation that left Mitzrayim is not going into Eretz Yisrael. So at the end of the year, one whole year of people would just fall into the burial, fall into the cave and be buried by themselves. So there was no need of a Chèvra Kadisha. Only after the Yidden are about to go into Eretz Yisrael, that's when the Seder of burial established. So the Eibishter had to show them preparation, how it should be done. And the Gemara says, Mahu Kaiva, just like the Eibishter buries, so too it's a mitzvah for us to bury. And we know that the Medrash also tells us that the whole Kvura, the whole Indian of Kvura, Adam and Chava were perplexed because they didn't know when Cain killed Hevel, they didn't know what to do with the Hevel until they saw a raven bury Hevel, and they learned from the raven how to do the mitzvah of Kvura.